All right, hello, people of the internet. Today, I am going to do a breakdown of this piece. In the future, I'd like to do some more proper full drawing or painting photo composition pieces from blank canvas to final product, but I wanted to start off showing one of my favorite pieces titled, holy cow, what is it titled? Oof. Metatron Cube in the PDF, but it is titled Slay the Dreamer. That's what it was. Wow, I don't know why I was spacing on that. But pretty much what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to take away all these layers and I'm going to start just with the base and then go through each of the items that I added to make this piece of artwork. I'll include my drawing tablet link in the description. I'll go over a little bit of what I use. Of course, most updated version of Photoshop. And disclaimer beforehand, all of the images that I'm going to be using are from UNSPLASH.com, and I'll also include that in the description. Pretty much website where you can get free copyright images, so you don't have to worry about finding a good image online and then worrying like, can I really use this? Is it modified enough where I won't come into any issues? So these are all safe, and I feel 100% comfortable to say you can use it for commercial use, you can sell them, whatever. And they got a huge variety of images on there, and you can search up anything you like pretty much. For the most part, is a little limited at times, but you can definitely find a lot of variety. Well, I guess let's just hop right into it. So Metatron's Cube, as I stated, that was the title of the Photoshop file, and it's what you're looking at right now. I'll briefly pop up an image. You can pause if you want, with the full description of exactly what Metatron's Cube is. 5 platonic solids hidden inside of this diagram of sorts, and it's the geometry of pretty much everything in the universe, and that was the basis for this. And I combine this with chakras and their meanings to come to a holistic kind of feel between the two areas, as they are related. It's the world, the universe, the body, us. So I started off with this diagram, geometric sketch of Metatron's Cube, and it just has a little bit of a glow effect on it, and a color overlay. Actually, it just has a color overlay. The glow effect is I guess just from this PNG. So what I started with after this was a 3D kind of build out of what I wanted. I wanted something a little more full and central, and I made this in Adobe Illustrator, so easier to port over, clean lines, and of course can be scaled up and down. No loss of quality whatsoever. And that brings me to another point. I definitely would have made this on a bigger canvas before I started, because this is on a 1080 by 1080, I believe. Let's see what the canvas size is. Oh, actually it's 2160 by 2160. Never mind, I take that back. Good on me, good on me. That makes it a little bit of a bigger scale, so not as much quality lost. Definitely always make your pieces on large canvases, because then you can print them out large. You don't have to worry about scaling them up and losing that detail if somebody wants a physical piece. So after I had that Illustrator piece here, I got some metal textures, and you can see them here. 34, okay. And I just repeated it. Doesn't matter if it's clean, it's not really going to be seen at all, so it could be repeated. And I'm going to relink all of these. And then I made it black and white because with that metal texture, I was like, I kind of like the steel feel. So I went for a steel feel. And brightened that up, added some contrast a little bit. And then I started adding the chakra glows, shadows, and a little bit of highlighting there, as you can see, just to bring out some of the details a bit more. And that was kind of in conjunction with adding these like glass orbs, which are the kind of just the solidifier of these chakras, the representation of them. And for all these shadows here, I'm using just a soft round brush, just the best. I mean, you can see it adds just a little bit, and I'm linking it so it's only reacting with the build underneath that base, so I can paint on the outside and get that like really light detailing. And that's what I do for all shadows, all highlights, everything. It's just simple. Best brush, default. And then after I had these, I had to add some light to the actual orbs to really signify, like, okay, they really are glowing. They're giving off something in this empty void. And then I was like, well, if there's glowing on the outsides, then the inside kind of feels empty. And that's where these dark orbs came from. Now that I'm looking at this kind of gives me a Yu-Gi-Oh feel. I don't know why I'm getting Yu-Gi-Oh, but these dark orbs are giving me Yu-Gi-Oh. Like that dude with the big pointy hat. Shoot, what card is that? If you know that card, let me post it in the comments. Shoot. So yeah, I kind of used those to balance out the outer orbs and the center area. And then I was like, I need something to tie it in even more. So what I did was got my mom to hold her hands in this kind of like awkward position, like you're crawling out of something. So she's trying to pull this cube, this geometric form apart and escape. And pretty much just started with the hands, as you can see here, and I added a brightness and curves layers over this. And before I get ahead of myself, the brightness and curves are this little adjustment. Yeah, you can see it there. Create new, what does it say? Come on, pop up. New fill or adjustment layer. Yeah. So got hue, saturation, color balance, black and white. This is just perfect. Brightness and contrast, best friend. Use it on literally everything. You're gonna see it constantly. So where to find it is this little circle here. And then I added, since now we have a white base, I got some coloring in. I did these purple pinkish tones, trying to mix it with the flesh but still be really glowy, just to match these dark orbs and what they're giving off. And then as I move up this list, this is what I did from start to finish. These are what popped into my head. Some of them it's kind of out of order, all hot from the top right to the bottom left to the bottom right to the top middle. It's all over the place. Chakra colors and lights. Now, when I click this, you don't really see much, and it's probably not really needed, but if you look at this little area down there, see it changes color just barely, and here it just kind of pumps it up, just slightly. And then I got to the chakras, and I wanted to kind of be as close to the chakra meaning or represent it as best as possible through images. You can be the judge if it matches up, if it represents it, but for this teal orb up here, I got a nice old owl. And the original image is this right there. Masked them out, cut them with the lasso tool and quick select. So just quick selected the body and then used shift. If you press shift and then draw, you can add a selection. If there's something you don't want, like I want to cut into it a little bit more, it's too fat here, then you can like subtract it like that. And then Control D is to remove that selection. So I cut him out. A little fuzzy around the edges, but I don't really care. He's in the void. It's gonna be zoomed out a bit. Gonna have some paint over him. It'll be fixed. So I adjusted his contrast a bit, removed a bit of that shadow so I could hand paint over him. Add some curves, brightened him up a little bit more, and then I painted some highlights. Again, with the soft round brush, and then I painted some shadow because he's got to recede a little bit. It's got to be hidden in the void, just lit by these orbs. And after that, I don't know why. I think nature just came into my mind, and it's kind of what branched everything else, my progression. But it was this moss. And as I just mentioned, how you can cut out those masks. You can also, and this is how I kind of got a little more finer detail in there, is get the brush tool. If you select the mask, if it's on black, paints it out. And if you have white or a light color, it paints it back in. So I kind of just did some light painting, just like chipped away at it to look like it was randomly growing. And after I got my moss in there, that's a lime green right there. Like these tones match like perfect, but this did not do. So added a curve, darkened it, got some color balance in there, got a little more, pushing it to that yellow, and then I painted over it. And these are some thick boys. These are some fat clumps of moss, and in my mind they were sticking out quite a bit. And after the moss, I moved to this, guitar and money. And actually, little baby dude, as you can see, I added this little guy in here, growing, and I added some money and a guitar. Have to do with music, have to do with, of course, getting that bread and succeeding. Kind of just hidden in there, a little prevalent towards the center. And then again, I used some color balance on these and curves on these to kind of push back the tones, flatten that out a little bit, and then paint over top with some yellow light and then black to make it look like it's in shadow. And then that kind of sits it in there. And what is this? Oh, it's the other baby dude. He's just gonna chill there. And then this is where it kind of takes hold. I did a bunch of vines and environmental like pieces. So what was the first one that I did? I think it was at the bottom right. That like big vine. Yep. This guy right here. He was my test subject. So color balanced him, made him a little bit red, a little bit magenta, and a little bit blue, just kind of to balance out those two. And then I added another one and made it a little yellow, I assume. Yeah, a little yellow, a little red, a little green. So again, balancing out the yellow from this light and the red from this light. And then hue and saturation, pushing it back, deepening it. And then I added just a little touch there to just make it feel a little bit more filled out. It's gripping onto that steel pipe area. What do these curves do? I have no clue what these... Oh, they're for that. It just kind of flattened it out a little bit. And then I added the lighting. And you can see the lighting really helps bring it in. And then I kept on adding more of these little vines, just slowly building up. And like these, got some purple. It's kind of muddied a little bit, but there's only like dark light coming from here. So the red here, if you think about this, these are like pyramid shapes of sorts. Light's not going to really get into this inside area. So if the purple is there and then a bright red light's here, it's going to be kind of dark. So muddiness I was fine with. And then I added the curves there. And then we have this piece. And this is where I start building up, branching up and going through each of the sections, trying to balance it out. Got the color balance there. More curves to flatten it out. Kind of removes that color balance almost. And then hue and saturation makes it even more gray. And then I just painted over it because there's a lot of blue. There's a lot of blue there. But I feel like it makes it really fit. The lighting is everything. Well, this whole piece is about lighting pretty much. Steel, reflection, bunch of angles that you have to look at, and a bunch of different colors interacting with different objects all the time. This was a challenge, not gonna lie. Took quite a bit, but I'm pretty happy with the outcome. And I don't know what this is about. Oh, I'll tell you. This little area right here. Those little guys. I always miss them. Small. Add some tiny touches of like really red light. And then we got these branches. These like wood. This wood. And again, I'm adding these hue and saturation, color balance, and curves. Pushing down the midtones just so it's as flat as possible. And then I paint in light with that soft brush. You can see like the light really adds everything. Like painting over that, capture what's in shadow, what's not, really make it feel three-dimensional. And then I added a bunch of like little vines all over. Up at the top, left side, bottom right. I think this was a lightning image, an image of lightning, a PNG, that I just kind of slapped over top and then painted out. Because they had the free form of vines, and they're not going to be detailed. They're going to be really small. So it worked perfectly. Get a lot of detail, a lot in a bunch of area, covering a wide space. So don't work harder, work smarter. So I was happy I found that image there. And then I don't think I added this in because there's a lot that's just in random areas. So I don't know why that's still there. I guess I was just trying it out. And then I moved to the top. As you see, I went from that one to the bottom, middle, to the left, now up here. And these gems, I probably could have added a bit more, to be honest. I could have arched it down a little bit, maybe placed one here, or made them growing on this a little bit. That would have been pretty cool. Yeah. The more detailed, the more believable it is. I mean, of course, if you do it right. So it started with this one, clear crystal, made it more yellow, popping, vibrant. Then I painted over with some shadow, light, color balance, hue. Again, just kind of trying to match what tone I wanted. And then after I got that second yellow one, I was like, gems are different colors. They should be varied. Of course, they're gonna have like a yellowish orange tone due to the light, but they should have a bit of differentiation between them. And then I like this section quite a bit. This little addition, this snake curling around everything. And you can see what the original image was. Actually, you can't. I saved it as the cutout. Or maybe it was a PNG. It looks like it's just a PNG, so unless I removed a white background. No. I must have saved it like that. So this is the original colors. And then again, like I did before, using those adjustment layers down here to just kind of flatten them out a little. And then matching the light. Where is he getting hit? And there's a lot of stuff that he's wrapping around, a lot of areas that might not be hit with light, might be hit with light. It's pretty close to this green, so make them look nice and toxic. Because when you zoom out, it all blends pretty well for the most part. Then add tiny touches of purple because, again, we're in a void. It's kind of dark, so it might not hit it as much, but some of it might be bouncing off that metal, or the skin might be, or scales. Do they have scales? I don't think they do. Do they? They do. Oh, shoot. I need to study some animal anatomy. Yeah, so under the lighting there. And then after that, I dove back down to the bottom because it's all feeling nice, but I kind of wanted to add more here. And so I added some butterflies and cocoons because this dude's growing. It needs to be happy. It needs to be a nice area. Something that feels warm and inviting, even though maybe a little creepy. So let's see what this original layer was. It was a bunch of these butterflies, and then I cut them out, and I think these are all from the same image. Not those. These two are the same image though, and then they were kind of darkened up. Not a lot of light hitting them. And then these two are from the same image. And it's just the three. So I used the 3 in one, and then I removed one. Wasn't too worried about repetition, as, I mean, butterflies are butterflies. They're a pretty simple form. There's going to be a lot. They're going to look the same. Just flip them, orientate them a little bit different. It'll work. And I think it did. And then again, as I've been saying, those curves, color balances, and hues, you can edit them like crazy, or you cannot. I tend to want more vibrant colors in mine, so I pump them, but it depends. Some people say you don't really need a lot of adjustment layers, especially like if you take this into, let's say, Lightroom. Then Lightroom, you're going to want to change not a lot, like maybe a couple points at a time, just to make sure everything's the same. And that actually brings up one thing that I'll touch on in the end of the piece to see how it actually looks. I'll edit it a little bit because I'm curious now of how this might work. And then after I got the butterflies, added a little bit of light there, I went over to the blue orb and I added these chains and eyeballs. I don't know why I was going for eyeballs. It probably relates again to the chakra and what it means, perhaps awareness. It's been a bit since I looked into it, but you guys will know. You'll have the leg up on me. And then I changed those colors again, just some paint, digital paint with that soft brush, recoloring it, and then adding a chain and some color correction there to make sure it like looks like it's in that blue light, and then adding some real touches of reflection, like bright blue. And then kind of getting close to the end. Since there was chains here, I wanted to add some more chains. Have a little bit more balance between each of the areas. If there's vines and happy nature feel on this bottom edge, and then there's chains here and gems here, a little bit more rigid form, might want to like blend it throughout, as this kind of blends up this way, and you'll see there's some flowers here, so this blends up again, so it all culminates in the center. And actually the flowers are what we were going to go to next, and I don't think these chains have much. They have some changes to them, not too much in the color within the hue or curves there, but once the painting comes on, then it really changes. And then with the flowers, I'll show you what this was, because this is like a demonstration of find whatever image. You can pull a lot of stuff from any image online. Like this was just a clump. I took a small portion of that and then said, oh no, it's curving around. They're relatively good sized flowers, where in this they look like they're pretty dang small. So again, changing kind of like the feel of it overall. Then changing the tone color a little bit, painting to really push it, and then felt like they needed to branch up a little bit more. I like those flowers. I could have probably added a couple more of those too. No, but as I'm saying that, like, you don't want to add too much too. It's all about the fine line. It can get tricky, and you can also spend a lot more time than intended, get lost in it. And then I got to this point, and I was like, this is pretty nice. How can I push this? Oh wait, it feels unbalanced. That might be the final step that I need. So I got these swords, and started with this one. I think they're all part of the same image as well. Yeah, they're all the same. I took this one and then this one, and put them in the same. So I color corrected a little bit, made it a little yellow, and then I added that shadow to kind of like push it into the void a bit. Then I added the other one and did the same thing, kind of give it a little bit more depth. And then I was like, okay, this is pretty dang full. People can get lost in it a little bit. And feels finalized, concrete. The one thing now that I wanted to see is, since there's so much color, since there's so many items, so many things in here, what would happen, and I do this now with a bunch of my pieces, and I think I learned this from, I believe, Benny Productions. I'll put him in the description, but I think I learned this from him, like a tip of just how to push it, make it feel all one, like it's one cohesive item. I just did it. I added a photo filter, but like, it just adds a little bit more of like, okay, it's all in the same light. It changes everything, and I feel like that does look a bit better. Brings it into a more warmer light. Everything is really in the same tonal range, just slightly though. But yeah, I do that on everything now. But I'm surprised I didn't do that on this. I mean, this was quite a while ago, but so thanks for watching. This was the breakdown. As you can see, I'll kind of go through everything again, not fully, but just so you can see the progress. So the swords came last. I'll just work my way backwards here. The flowers, chains, blue orb details, the butterflies, snake, gems, vines. A whole lot of difference there. Holy cow. That's a lot more personality. Guitar and money, the moss, owl, the bass. That comes last. I mean, I think I added that on after then. I must have, because it comes pretty high up. Extra ethereal lines connecting for the base. The glass orbs, the hands, the actual cube itself. And now we're left with the chakra colors and the orbs. And then back to black. And then everything comes back. Oh yeah, and this was also one more thing. I had Slay the Dreamer here, but decided to take it out. Didn't really fit with what my buddy was looking for. I like it though. Has some texture in there again. Conducting electricity. Combined some letters. This was a pretty cool typeface I found. I liked it. But yeah, that wasn't in the final. Nor was any of that. But if you guys liked this, I'm gonna be trying to do some more videos. I will be trying to do full walkthroughs, like from blank canvas to end product drawing, live, and doing every step. Some time lapses. Ooh, time lapses, yeah. Let me know if anybody wants to see any specific type of art, or time lapses or full pieces, if you liked this. And I hope some of y'all will stick around, like, subscribe, comment. I'd like to see what your thoughts on this are, and hope to see you in the future. Have a good one.